Now at 10, the state's account that covers unemployment payments may run out of money soon, but that doesn't mean your checks will stop.
Does the 6-foot social distancing rule go far enough? We're verifying after this viral video shows a sneeze can travel 27 feet.
We are so thankful for your overwhelming support and prayers.
And some good news, a family's glimmer of hope after a Harris County sergeant has been hospitalized with COVID-19 since last month. KHOU 11 News at 10 starts right now.
First tonight, oil crash. For the first time in history, the cost of a barrel of oil goes negative.
That means instead of selling oil, energy companies are paying others to take it off their hands because they have nowhere to store it. Matt Doherty explains what this all means for the industry and you.
No matter how hard you try right now, you can't make a dollar drilling oil. Nobody will buy it.
We've never seen something like this before.
Texas Monthly writer Evan Mintz wrote about the double hit Texas was about to take earlier this month.
What we've seen right now is that this slow and steady decline just fell off a cliff. But if it's anything like the 80s bust, it'll be several years.
In 1986, everything fell apart.
Put on your hard hat, the sky is falling. That comment came as oil prices tumbled toward their lowest level since the late 1970s.
The fallout was severe. It was reported that more than 250,000 jobs left Houston and 200,000 homes were left vacant. The price of oil took 20 years to come back.
Right now, there's a lot of crisis management, as you would imagine.
Oil and gas lawyer Cliff Freelink has been on the phone a lot today, helping his clients navigate their next steps.
Trying to sell their assets for whatever they can. They've been talking to the bank. And in their case, they're just going to have to wrap up the business and close the doors, unfortunately.
We like to think that Houston has this big, diverse economy, but the fact of the matter is that we are still an oil and gas city.
Mintz says this day has been a long time coming for Houston and says the city could become the next Cleveland, a former one-industry town with its best days in the past. But Freelink is hopeful that is not the case.
Houstonians and Texans are going to find solutions, and there's going to be a lot of pain right now, but people will come out of this, and will come out of it and continue, and people will rebuild their businesses.
From Houston, I'm Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
Breaking news now. Less than an hour ago, President Trump tweeted that he plans to sign an executive order to temporarily suspend immigration into the U.S. He says it's in light of the, quote, invisible enemy, as well as the need to protect the jobs of American citizens. It's not clear when he'll sign the order or how long it will last. We'll keep you posted as we learn more. Today, Houston and Harris County named the leaders of their COVID-19 recovery efforts. State Representative Armando Wally will lead Harris County's effort. Former Shell Oil President Marvin Odom will head up Houston's. Odom said testing and contact tracing will be key in gradually reopening the economy. Mayor Sylvester Turner said the virus is hitting the budgets of cities around the country hard.
COVID-19 is going to have significant impacts, I will tell you. All 5 of my cadet classes, for example, will be deferred. Employees will be furloughed. Payments, for example, even to the Houston Zoo, will be deferred.
Both the Houston and Harris County czars will work side by side to get the city and county economies back up and running.
The gradual reopening of the state's economy started today with the reopening of state parks. You might recall they had been closed for the past 2 weeks. Now you can return as long as you follow strict guidelines, including covering your face, maintaining social distancing, and keeping your groups to 5 people or less.
Everyone's doing a pretty good job. Everyone's staying apart, and the groups are far apart, so everyone's being really good about social distancing.
Starting on Wednesday, phase 2 for the state begins. That's when hospitals will be allowed to start performing some non-essential surgeries. And then on Friday, retail businesses can begin to-go style service.
Officials keep saying reopening the economy depends entirely on seeing a steady decrease in cases. So let's check the latest numbers for our area. Take a look at this map. It shows how many cases are in each county. We have surpassed 7,400 cases so far. Sadly, there were new deaths reported in Harris, Galveston, and Washington counties today. But on the plus side, more than 1,100 people have recovered in Houston and Harris County combined, along with 208 people in Galveston County and 85 in Fort Bend. We know so many of you are relying on unemployment benefits to keep you going, at least until the economy gets back up and running. And there is good news and bad news about how much money the state has to cover those benefits. The bad news is the state's account that covers unemployment payments only has about 6 weeks worth of money. But the good news is unemployment checks will continue. Governor Greg Abbott issued an executive order late March, paving the way for the Texas Workforce Commission to take out what's called a Title 12 loan. That would likely be paid back either through higher sales tax or raising the unemployment tax, which is mostly paid for by workers.
So what this would mean is that it would reduce the money going to workers in the future more than anything else. We should start thinking about repaying it, and how is that going to look?
Of course, that's all for people already receiving benefits. We're told those of you still struggling to apply just have to keep trying.
We know the airlines have been hit hard by this pandemic, but pilots are still finding a way to give back. Tonight, Marcelino Benito shows us how United is still bringing people home.
As COVID-19 began to spread across the globe, international travel ground to a halt. Houstonians had no way to get home.
These people were stuck out, not knowing when they were going to be able to come back.
Despite a massive reduction in regular flight schedules out of Houston, United Airlines put their aircraft to good use across the world.
Tegucigalpa, Panama, Managua, a couple flights to Mexico, down to Puerto Vallarta.
UA Captain Scott Pritchard was in the cockpit for half a dozen repatriation flights. He volunteered to help fly Americans home.
It's something I wanted to do. I kind of put myself, if this was my family and stuck out of the country, I thought it was an honor to get to fly these passengers back.
And he's not alone. These UA pilots were greeted by cheers as they arrived to fly stranded Americans home from Australia.
See you guys. Thank you.
Since the pandemic began, United has flown 100 repatriation flights to 13 cities in 8 countries and brought back nearly 16,000 passengers.
Job that needs to be done, and we're there to do it.
Many of those passengers landed here in Houston. Captain Pritchard says you can see how much it meant.
Some of them I talked to, were really stressed out, but so thankful when they saw the aircraft land. We pulled up to the gate, knowing that they were headed home.
The airline workers that gave these passengers hope,
it's a lot of uncertainty,
still face worries of their own. Their industry crippled by a virus keeping too many aircraft grounded. They just want to fly. Whether it's shuttling stranded Americans, medical supplies, or doctors and nurses, Pritchard says it's their way to help during this crisis.
It's different. I mean, not flying passengers, but it's just good to be up in the air. It kind of takes a lot of the stress away to get up. We all love to fly, and once you get up in the air, it kind of all that stuff goes away.
Standing for Houston, I'm Marcelino Benito, KHOU 11 News.
Well, that is good to see. President Trump says the vote on a popular small business relief program could come as early as tomorrow.
Lawmakers are closing in on a deal a week after funding ran out. The story tops your 90-second nightcap.
Lawmakers are working on securing more funding for hospitals and testing as part of the deal to replenish the Paycheck Protection Program for small businesses. Negotiators say it could pass by later this week.
A lot of progress has been made on that, tremendous progress. It's a great plan. It's a great plan. It's helped a lot of people. So we hope to have a vote maybe tomorrow in the Senate.
Shelves usually filled with paper products remain empty, and many stores continue to limit how much you can purchase. But Americans are not only buying out of panic, they actually need more.
People are no longer going to the restroom at school or work. While we're home 24/7, toilet paper maker Georgia Pacific estimates we're using 40% more.
TP makers have increased production, but it could be several weeks before stores can add more stock.
Around the globe, Mother Nature is reclaiming her space. In Kenya, a lion relaxes on a bench in the Masai Mara Reserve. A pack of pachyderms clog a road in southern India, while there's a new king of the urban jungle in Adelaide, Australia. And in northern Italy, this hungry fellow was looking for the bare necessities. In Haifa, Israel, Wild boars got quite boorish exploring abandoned spaces. But for now, while the humans are away, the animals will stay.
You know, Mia, it's kind of cool to see the animals now hanging out in places we may not see them. I just want to put this out there. I do not want to see an alligator strolling down Westheimer. I don't know about you, but not me.
Or a coyote, or a bobcat, and maybe here in Texas we'll even see a Koopa Chabra, Lynn. You just never know.